Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another live stream. As tonight we've got another college basketball game on the live stream tonight out of the Missouri Valley Conference. Belmont off to a 12-1 start on the season. They will take on Indiana State as Missouri Valley Conference play gets fully underway here. And we will preview this game momentarily between Belmont and Indiana State. First of all, let's pray. Lord Jesus, thank you for this day, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to do this, Lord. And we ask that you please protect all these players and fans tonight. Please keep everyone safe, Lord. And please do your will among all of us. Look over us all, Lord, as we ask this in your name. Amen. All right, Belmont and Indiana State. Belmont off to a 12-1 start on the season. The red-hot Belmont Bruins right now. They sit 2-0 in Missouri Valley Conference play. Meanwhile, Indiana State comes into this game at 7-6 on the season. They are 0-2 in Missouri Valley Conference play. And this is a Belmont team averaging 85.5 points a game while giving up under 70, 68.2. So this is a Belmont team that can put up the points. Indiana State, meanwhile, a team that averages 76 a game, 76.5 a game. They give up 73.2. So pretty even there as far as points for, points against. Belmont winning their two conference games back in December. At the beginning of this month of December, Indiana State falling in their two conference games. One of those a triple overtime home loss to Bradley, before losing 85-65 to Illinois State in their second conference game. So we are just about set to go between Belmont and Indiana State as they are getting ready to announce the starters for both these teams. Belmont's only loss on the season, they started out 8-0 on the season. Their only loss was to Richmond back on December the 3rd. They have won 4 straight since then. And we are underway. The tip is controlled by Belmont. And Belmont quickly throws it out of bounds on the first play of the game. And the Sycamores will have it for the first time. On the outside here is Xavier Hall. And the bounce pass inside. Sycamores working around Derek Vorst with it now. Back to Hall. Hall looking to drive, cannot. Backs it back out. Shot clock down to 5 for Indiana State. And a three-point shot on the way up and good for Camp Wagner. And that's how this game begins. 3-0 Indiana State. Actually, they're calling that a long 2, so it's 2-0. And underneath, a dunk at the other end for Drew Sharnowski. And that will tie this game at 2. Sycamores bringing up the floor. Wagner outside to Vorst. Xavier Hall. Sycamores working it around here. Now outside on the arc. Trying to drive, cannot. Sends it back outside for a three-pointer that comes up short. Rebounded by Belmont. Tied at 2. Get first minute and a half. Did not give you the starters. I was a little late jumping on, so did not give you the starting lineup. I will do that at the first break in the action. Three-point shot on the way, a foul and a basket. This will be a chance for a 4-point play as Tyler Lundblade hits the basket and was fouled on the three-point shot. Tyler Lundblade heading to the line to try to complete the 4-point play. And he does. 6-2, Belmont in front. Up the floor comes Xavier Hall. Wagner now with it. Camp Wagner, right-hand layup up and good for Camp Wagner. And it makes it a 5-4 game, or 6-4 game, rather. And Belmont turns it over. And back comes Indiana State the other way. Vorst with it, looking for Hall, and finds him. Xavier Hall now at the top of the key. Here's the drive inside by Wagner. Instead, he kicks it back out, and we have a Belmont foul. First foul of the game on the Bruins, and Indiana State will inbound. Sycamores to bring it in from under the basket. Trailing by 2, and Sycamores turn it over. Nick McLean with it on the outside, gives it off to Isaiah West, who just checked in at the last stoppage for Belmont. Sharnowski, the turn off the glass, and he scores. Sharnowski with 4 points. And Belmont leads 8-4. It's Wagner. Wagner trying to get free. Does momentarily, and now will pull up and come up short. Rebound pulled down by Belmont. Nick McLean brings it up the floor for the Bruins. McLean looking to drive, gets cut off, but now gets free and banks it off the glass. No good. Belmont tries to keep it alive, but they do not, as Camp Wagner comes out with the rebound for Indiana State. Joe Van Bugenhout, I hope I got that pronunciation right, has the ball for the Sycamores. Now outside over to Ian Scott. Now Xavier Hall on the outside. Back to Scott. Sycamores working around the perimeter. Shot clock down to 5. The drive inside, layup good by Joe Van Bugenhout. That's 4 for him, and it's an 8-6 lead for Belmont. McLean with it now. McLean. Now the bounce pass and the turnaround right-hand hook shot, no good. Rebound pulled down by Indiana State, Ian Scott. Scott with it now on the outside. Finds Xavier Hall. Back to Ian Scott. Nice bounce pass inside to Wagner, but he got cut off immediately as he was trying to go up for the layup. 7 to shoot, and a bad pass and a turnover stolen by Belmont. Isaiah West, and now a 3-point shot by Sharnowski is good. (11-6) Belmont. Hall. Van Bugenhout on the outside. He will drive, kicked it back outside to Hall. Hall looking to drive, bounce pass inside to Vorst, puts it up too strong, out of bounds off the Sycamores. It's going to go to Belmont as we have hit our first timeout at the 14:38 mark of the first half. Good start for Belmont on the road, leading 11-6 in the early going. So early on, an early Belmont lead over Indiana State, 11-6. Full Missouri Valley Conference slate on this Monday night. Did have one non-conference game involving a Missouri Valley Conference team. That was UIC's. They rolled over Illinois Tech 102-64. Southern Illinois and Murray State underway in Murray, Kentucky. Tips coming up at the top of the hour. Valparaiso and Northern Iowa and Evansville and Bradley. And then coming up here in a couple hours from Des Moines, Illinois State and Drake. But Belmont leads this one 11-6. They're 4 for their first 6 from the floor and a perfect 2 for 2 from three-point range. Indiana State 3 for their first 6. Mentioned Belmont coming in at 12-1 with their only loss to Richmond. Indiana State, meanwhile, comes in at 7-6. They have dropped 2 straight after winning 3 in a row. That triple overtime loss to Bradley back on December 18th for Indiana State, followed by a 20-point road loss at Illinois State last Sunday, the 21st. So Indiana State's had 7 days off in between games. Belmont's had 9 days off since their last game, a win at UC Irvine. Casey Alexander, the head coach of the Belmont Bruins. And on the other side, Andrew Graves, in his second year as head coach of Indiana State. He missed first few games this season with some issues, but he is back now on the sideline for Indiana State. Following the timeout, Belmont will inbound. Bruins bring it up the floor, up by 5. Couple substitutions for both teams, which we'll tell you about here in just a second. Turnaround jumper here, up and too strong. Tip won't go. A third try, no, but a foul. Good hustle by Belmont. Get the offensive rebounds and keep the possession alive. And Belmont will have 2 free throws. Foul whistled against Derek Vorse. That's his first. And to the line goes Drew Charnowski. First of 2 is he just airballed the free throw. Drew Charnowski just absolutely airmailed that first free throw. Second is good. It's 12-6 Belmont. And now St. Bernard into the game for the Sycamores. He's got the ball now. And the Sycamores have it knocked out of bounds and actually turned the ball over. It'll go back to Belmont. Third Indiana State turnover. So we do have a scoring change to tell you about, which I'll tell you about here at the next dead ball. Here's a 3-point shot for Belmont that's no good, but another offensive rebound. Dillon gets this rebound. And the layup as Charnowski, no good, but a foul. So back on the first basket of the game that was scored by Camp Wagner, it was scored a 2 originally. I think they went back at the timeout and looked at it and have given Camp Wagner a 3-point basket on that. So it is 12-7, not 12-6. First free throw is good by Charnowski. And he will have one more. Second one for Charnowski is good. He is 3 for 4 from the free throw line. And the Belmont lead is up to 7 now at 14-7. 6.5 minutes into this first half. Van Bugenhout on the drive and passes off to St. Bernard. Now Sterling Young. Nice dish inside, and the shot blocked. And back comes Belmont. And the drive inside, missing the shot. And the Sycamores will come down with the rebound. Jabez Jenkins got stuck kind of underneath the basket. Didn't have a good angle on that shot. A deep three back at the Sycamore logo, and it's good from Camp Wagner, his second three. It's 14-10. Now Belmont back the other way. Nice spin move inside and an easy 2 points that time for Jabez Jenkins. It's now a 16-10 lead for Belmont. Sycamores back the other way. Sterling Young on the drive, puts it up. That's no basket. It's an offensive foul. Young put it in, but it's going to be waved off on a charge. So Sterling Young with the charge. That's his fourth Indiana State team foul. Looked like a good call on the replay. Looked like Dylan got set and was outside that cylinder. Belmont brings it up the floor, up a half dozen as we near 12 minutes to play in the first half. And a three-pointer on the way. That's well short. Rebound to Indiana State. Belmont now 2 for 4 from beyond the arc. Three-point shot on the way. Too strong at the other end. On the miss that time by Xavier Hall. And it's rebounded by Belmont. Nice feed inside, and the finish for Brigham Rogers. He's now on the board, and Belmont has built an 8-point lead at 18-10. This is their largest lead of the game. Bruno Alifin into the game for Indiana State. Ian Scott on the drive, kicks it outside for a three in the corner that is good for Hunter Harding. Hunter Harding with a three in the corner to cut the Belmont lead to 5, 18-13. Dillon with it now for the Bruins. To Rogers. Rogers looking inside. Can't find anyone. Sends it back out to Dillon. And Belmont setting up for a three-point shot. That's no good. Rebound pulled down by Indiana State. And Belmont knocks the pass out of bounds. It will stay Indiana State ball as we hit a timeout with 10:42 remaining in the first half. 18-13 lead for the Bruins on the road over Indiana State. So looking at the stats in this one so far, Belmont 6 of 13 shooting for 46%. They're 2 for 5 from beyond the arc for 40%. Indiana State at 5 of 10 for 50%. They're 3 of 5 from beyond the arc for 60%. Drew Charnowski and Tyler Lundblade both with 7 points to lead Belmont. Indiana State's led by Camp Wagner, 6 points on his 2 3-pointers. Lundblade, the leading scorer on the season for Belmont, averaging about 16 a game. Indiana State has only 2 players that average in double figures. Ian Scott averages 13.8, and Camp Wagner averages 12.9. And again, a Belmont team that averages a little over 85 points a game. So a very, very good shooting team, this Belmont Bruins team, thus their 12-1 record to start the season. One of the best mid-major teams in the country. I'm going to have a look at one of the other best mid-major teams in the country on the live stream tomorrow night, as I'm going to have undefeated Miami of Ohio, 13-0 on the season coming in. They're going to take on a 10-3 Bowling Green team, so action from the MAC tomorrow. Anxious to see that Red Hawks team tomorrow. I have not seen them yet. So following the timeout on the inbound, the Sycamores have it, and we have a trip here on Belmont. Like they're going to get Jabez Jenkins with the foul. We have not seen as a whole lot of fouls so far in this game, just 6 combined fouls so far. The Sycamores bring it in. Nice pass inside, and the layup is good for Sterling Young. A great feed to him underneath the basket. And the Sycamores are within 3 at 18-15. McLean sends it back outside. Nice pass inside. That's a layup for Brigham Rogers. 20-15, Belmont. Sycamores almost turned it over, coming back down the floor, but they do maintain possession. Xavier Hall with it now on the outside. As we have just passed the midway point of the first half. Top of the key, 3-pointers, too strong. And that's going to be out of bounds to who? Say the Sycamores are going to keep it. Sycamores to inbound from under the basket. Hunter Harding with it. Working it around the arc. 3-point shot on the way. Too strong from Alifin, and rebound pulled down by Belmont. And then at the other end, a 3 is good. Nick McLean with a 3. That gets him on the board, and Belmont has tied their largest lead of the game at 8 at 23-15. Turning in the paint, off the glass, and scoring off the glass is Ian Scott. Fought his way underneath there and got the layup to go. It's 23-17. Belmont's lead is a half dozen. And getting back the other way, but missing the layup is Belmont. And now back the other way, Sterling Young with a layup. And it's a 4-point game now at 23-19 as the Sycamores have scored a quick 4. Belmont back the other way, and they turn it over. Sycamores got a hand in the passing lane, and then we have a foul on Belmont as Sterling Young was tripped. That foul's going to go against Jabez Jenkins. That's number 2 on Jenkins. So he's probably going to have to sit down here. Boy, that looked like the players just got their feet tangled up there. I didn't see much there for a foul, but it was called. Camp Wagner with it for the Sycamores. Wagner on the drive and got cut off. Now finds Hall. Back to Wagner outside. Shot clock down to 10 for the Sycamores. And the turnaround from the foul line rimmed out. Rebound pulled down by Belmont. That was halfway down and rimmed out. Sharnowski got cut off as he tried to drive inside, sends it back outside to McLean. Now McLean driving. Nice bounce pass, and the layup is good. Brigham Rogers with the basket, and it's back to a 6-point Belmont lead, 25-19. At the other end, a deep three, no good. Rebound pulled down by the Bruins. Look to go back up 8 again, but Rogers was cut off, and ball goes out of bounds to Indiana State. Rogers was trying to get a layup underneath. He got cut off and got kind of caught up in the air there, and the ball got away from him and went out of bounds. We have a timeout with 7:21 to play in the first half. Belmont, with the exception of the first basket of the game, is led throughout. They lead it by 6 now, 25-19 at the under 8 timeout. So Indiana State hanging around here as they are down by 6 against the 12-1 Belmont Bruins. They are underway in Murray, Kentucky between the Salukis and the Racers. Murray State with an early 3-point lead, 7.5 minutes into that game. Belmont continuing to shoot over 50% here, 9 of 17 for 53%. Indiana State 8 of 18 for 44%. Both teams have turned it over 4 times. Taking a quick glance at some other scores across the country. Number 22, Florida's all over Dartmouth in the second half, 65-36. Number 2, Michigan, 29-16 lead over McNeese. Number 5, Purdue, 27-16 lead over Kent State in the first half. Number 9, Michigan State trailing at home to Cornell in the first half, 26-19. Number 11, Vanderbilt, no problem so far with New Haven. New Haven, a brand new D1 team this year, 34-15 there. Number 23, Georgia, trailing at home to Long Island, 27-24 in the first half. That's some top 25 scores right there. Final top 25 score from earlier today, number 20, Illinois, no problem with Southern University, 90-55. Number 25, Iowa, 90-62 over Massachusetts Lowell. Later on, 12-0 and third-ranked Iowa State hosts Houston Christian. Number 8, Houston in action at home against Middle Tennessee. Number 14, Alabama hosts Yale. Yale 11-1 on the season. That's not going to be a cakewalk of a game for Alabama tonight. That's a very, very good Yale squad, and we know the damage they've done in the NCAA tournament over the years. Top-ranked team in the country, Arizona. They host South Dakota State. Coming up in just a little bit. That's a few of the other scores across the country. Back here, Indiana State brings it up. And a 3-point shot on the way, up and good. Camp Wagner with the 3, and this is a 1-point game. Or excuse me, a 3-point game, 25-22. Sharnowski gets it inside, but shot it too strong. Rebound, Indiana State. Ian Scott with it. Over it goes to Wagner. Wagner tried to get it underneath to Ian Scott, but threw it a little too high, and the ball goes out of bounds. And Indiana State turns it over for the 5th time in the first half. Belmont brings it up the floor. Up by 3, and still up by 3 as Sharnowski missed the layup, but he did get fouled. And Sharnowski will head to the free throw line. Sharnowski at the line for 2. Sharnowski 3 for 4, now make it 3 for 5 at the free throw line as he misses the first. Second free throw for Charnowski is good as he hits 1 of 2. He extends the Belmont lead to 4, 26-22. We've just passed the 6.5-minute mark of the first half. Xavier Hall with it. On the outside, Hall finds Van Bugenhout. Van Bugenhout on the drive. Sends it back out to Hall. Van Bugenhout now in the corner, looking to drive inside, gives it back to Hall. Hall will take a three-point shot. That comes up short, out of bounds. It's going to go to Belmont as Indiana State knocks it out of bounds. Bruins bring it up the floor. This is Charnowski over to Rogers. Back over it goes to Charnowski. And the pull-up jumper up and good for Tyler Lundblade. That's his 9th point. And Belmont's back up 6, 28-22. Hall now with it, and Hall is fouled as he tries to drive inside. Will be the 4th Belmont foul of the first half. And the Sycamores will inbound. And it comes here as that's Van Bugenhout. Over to Ian Scott. Bounce pass now to Xavier Hall. 8 to shoot for the Sycamores. Van Bugenhout on the drive. Nice bounce pass underneath. Shot is blocked. And now we have a whistle. What are they calling here? Not sure what exactly they're calling here. Oh, I think they're knocking I think it's going to be Indiana State ball out of bounds. Belmont, whenever they were going to hit the rebound, they knocked the ball off the basket stanchion. And so I think they're calling it out of bounds off of Belmont. The officials are coming over to the scores table. Oh, they reset the shot clock. So it's just going to be 1 second on the shot clock for Indiana State. So it's going to have to be a catch and shoot here. So 1 second to shoot here for Indiana State. Andrew Graves getting an explanation from this officiating crew. Now we got a quick timeout here. They're reviewing this. I don't know exactly what for because there's a block. Oh, I think they might be checking to see after the play, after it was out of bounds, Ian Scott came in, gave a little bit of a shot to the face of the Belmont player, and I think they're checking to see if there's going to be anything that warrants a flagrant 1 foul, but I don't think I saw anything there that. And yeah, nothing. So it's just going to be inbound underneath the basket for the Sycamores. Again, just 1 second on the shot clock, so it's going to have to be a catch and shoot here. They get it in, and they turn it over. So it'll be a shot clock violation as Indiana State couldn't handle the inbound pass, and the shot clock expired. So Belmont will get it back up by 3. Five to go, first half. Sharnowski gives it off to Isaiah West. Isaiah West gets cut off. Back to Sharnowski underneath and gets the bounce off the back rim. Sharnowski with a dozen here in the first half, and Belmont's lead back to 8. It ties their largest lead of the first half at 30-22. At the other end, Sycamores trying to answer. There's a blocked shot, but an open three is no good. And Belmont can't handle the rebound as it goes out of bounds. It will stay with the Sycamores, and they will get another crack at it. 4:25 remaining in the first half. Sycamores trail by 8. Sycamores inbound under the basket. And it comes to St. Bernard. Bounce pass inside. The turnaround hook shot on the way up and good for Ian Scott. That's his second field goal. And it's 30-24. McLean brings it up the floor for Belmont. Finds Sharnowski. Back to McLean. Now McLean trying the alley-oop, but it's missed. I think that ball was deflected by an Indiana State player, which threw off the timing on it. Scott, nice pass underneath, and the layup is good by Enel St. Bernard. That's his first 2 points. Sycamores have scored 4 straight to pull back within 4 again, 30-26. Sharnowski stepped out of bounds on the corner. Sharnowski was in the corner and retrieved the ball, but the backside of his foot was out of bounds, and Belmont turns it over for the 5th time. And we have a timeout with 3:37 to play in the first half. Tight one here in the first half. Belmont leading 30-26. Do want to mention at the half, I will be briefly pausing the live stream for about 10 minutes, and we'll be back just prior to the second half, run down some first half stats, and get you ready for the second half, which if this first half is any indication, is going to be a good one. Belmont shooting still over 50% at 11 of 21. They're 50% from three-point range at 3 for 6. Indiana State, meanwhile, dropped to 44% shooting on 11 of 25. 4 of 12 from 3 at 33%. Sycamores have turned it over 6 times this half. Belmont's turned it over 5 times. Indiana State has a 2-rebound edge right now. Drew Sharnowski leading the way for Belmont with 12 points in this first half. Leading the way for Indiana State's Camp Wagner with 9 on 3 3-pointers here in the first half. It'll be Indiana State ball out of the timeout. As they trail by 4. On a Monday night in Terre Haute. Monday night before we turn the calendar to 2026. On Thursday. It's going to be a busy live stream this week. Got college basketball tomorrow. The undefeated Miami of Ohio Redhawks and Bowling Green tomorrow. And then Wednesday night, New Year's Eve night, I will be on for the first college football playoff quarterfinal game in the Cotton Bowl between Miami and Ohio State. Out of the timeout, Sycamores bring it up the floor. St. Bernard on the outside. Alley-oop, and it's converted on a great feed to St. Bernard from Van Vugenhout. And this is a 2-point game, 30-28. And we have a foul on the Sycamores. That'll be their 6th here in the first half. Out of the timeout, or out of bounds, rather. Belmont with it. This is Isaiah West driving inside, kicks it back out, and a three-point shot is a brick, but kept alive by Belmont. Shot clock didn't reset. That didn't hit the rim. Three-pointer is good at the shot clock buzzer. Tyler Lundblade just threw that thing up there and it went in. He's got 12. And now the Sycamores turn it over at the other end as they turn it over for the 7th time. Belmont brings it up the floor, up by 5. Now Belmont, here's Lundblade again with another 3. His 4th 3 of the half. He's got 15. And just like that, for back-to-back 3s for Belmont, has them back up by 8. Alley-oop pass is taken away. Sycamore's 8th turnover. And Belmont looks for a double-digit lead for the first time in this game as we are down to the 2-minute mark. Lundblade, he's been hot from back there and hits again. His 5th 3 of the half. He's got 18 in the first half. Timeout, Indiana State. Tyler Lundblade, 6 for 6 from the floor, 5 for 5 from three-point range. And Belmont has their largest lead now at 11, 39-28, as they've gone on a 9-0 run. Tyler Lundblade, an individual 9-0 run. Well, the Sycamores had cut it down to 2, but a quick 9-0 spurt for Belmont. Sycamores needing a basket, and they get one here from Hunter Harding. He's got 5. 39-30. And a foul on Indiana State. This will be their 7th team foul, so it'll be 1-1 now for Belmont. Second foul on Ian Scott. So Tyler Lundblade heading to the line, looking for a 20-point half with 2 free throws. First is good. Got Manning fresh in the live chat saying, let's go Belmont. Good first half so far as Lundblade hits 2. He's got 20 points in the first half, and it's 41-30. Belmont back up by 11 as we've just passed a minute and a half to play in the first half. Sycamores don't want to let this lead get too much further here, especially with the kind of offense Belmont has. 3-point shot on the way and a much-needed 3 for Indiana State. Camp Wagner with his 4th 3 of the half. He's got 12, and it's 41-33. At the other end, Lundblade misses one. That's his first miss from the floor. Rebound to the Sycamores as we're under a minute, first half. At the other end, a three. That's good. Sterling Young with a three. He's got 7 off the bench, and now all of a sudden, it's a 6-point game. That shot's no good. And out of bounds to who? I haven't seen a signal. Indiana State's ball. I think I mistakenly just said a 6-point game. It's actually a 5-point game on back-to-back threes. Indiana State can keep pace and close. Well, so far they've had when Belmont's tried to get the lead out, they've got it to 11, but each time so far, anyway, here in the first half, Indiana State's had an answer to prevent that lead from getting any further. And now they're going to get the ball back here with 34.8 seconds. Difference of just under 5 seconds, shot clock, game clock, so the Sycamores can milk this most of the way down here in the first half, and they're in no hurry here. Van Bugenhout just dribbling out near the Sycamore logo at midcourt. Now the shot clock down to 6. Now they're going to have to set something up. The runner gets stuck on the rim. And that's going to go to the possession arrow, and Indiana State's actually going to keep possession with 6.6 to go on the game clock. 2 seconds, however, on the shot clock. Okay, and actually, I'm sorry, since this was a held ball, that would reset the shot clock, so the shot clock's going to get turned off here. In it comes. And the Sycamores throw it out of bounds with 2.7 to go in the first half, so they don't even get a shot off. And let's see if Casey Alexander will use his use it or lose it first half timeout, and he will right here with 2.7 to try to set something up here for the final shot of the first half. A first half that's seen Belmont shoot 52% from the floor, and I beg your pardon, he is not going to use the timeout here. Now he is. Okay, I thought I saw a timeout signal, but they were getting ready to inbound the ball, and now they're going to go to the benches for the timeout. First half that's seen Belmont shoot 52% from the floor and 55% from three-point range, but Indiana State's been able to shoot just about as well, 50% from the floor and 43% from three-point range, to keep the Sycamores in this one here in the first half. It's a 41-36 lead for Belmont. They'll get the final shot here with 2.7 to go in the first half. Again, I want to mention I am going to briefly pause the live stream at the half for about 10 minutes. Come back, get you ready for the second half, run down some first half stats. And what should be, if this first half's an indication, what should be a tightly contested second half. Belmont to inbound. They get it in, and a bad pass there. They're going to get a shot off here, and it's no good as the horn sounds to end the first half. 41-36, our halftime score. Belmont leading Indiana State. Belmont has led pretty much throughout this first half. Indiana State got the first basket of the game, but Belmont's led ever since. And they go to the locker room leading by 5, 41-36, looking to go to 13-1 on the season and move to 3-0 in Missouri Valley Conference play. Meanwhile, Indiana State looks for the Missouri Valley upset and looks for their first conference win of the 2025-2026 season. Again, folks, brief pause. I will be back with you here in about 10 minutes. Run down the first half stats and get you ready for half number 2. Should be a good one. 41-36, Belmont leads Indiana State at the half. Brief pause.